famous. So welcome so much, Jean from Faminga. I'm a crew. I'm joined with my colleague Joseph. Joseph, greet the participants, then
I'm
introduce
Joseph.
Jean.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jean-Claude. I'm Joseph Tushimire.
Yeah.
So I'm here in Kigali, Rwanda, too. I work with
Mm-hmm.
the Digital Earth Africa and the University of Rwanda, and it's
Yeah.
glad to engage more users across the continent. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, nice to meet you all. My name is Jean-Claude. I am the CEO and founder of Faminga, and we are helping the farmers to be more climate resilient, maximize their yield, and they grow in terms of financial and by making data-driven decisions. Normally, we use IoT, AI, and geospatial data to provide actionable insight to the farmers in Rwanda, focusing on small scale farmers, but also our solution can serve both small scale farmers and commercial and cooperatives. And I'm excited to be here and to see you guys, what you are building for us, the innovators.
Thank you so much, Jean, for joining us. We prepared a short presentation just to show you the opportunities. Then we'll engage with you to get more feedback on how we could support you, as you are one of the great persons from the Africa Earth Observation Challenge, run by our own host of the program, Reese, based in South Africa. So just to give you an overview of Digital Africa, this is a program powered by partnerships. We are working with all countries, and our aim is to use Earth observations to help support natural resource management for the greater development of our countries. And we are working with partners across continent and hopefully Faminga in Rwanda. We also have other partners in East, North, and South Western Africa. And we've developed these continental services from water observation, from cropland extent, from vegetation climatologists, which we'll be able to show you. This platform is running on Open Data Cube technology, and all this data is hosted by Amazon Web Services in South Africa. We aim to provide partners. We are working with different partners in Eastern Africa. We are working with the Regional Center for Mapping, Southern East and Southern Africa. We are working with our partner Sahel in Tunisia. We are working with our partner in Senegal, Center Suvi Ekologi. We are working with our partner in Nigeria, called Afrigist, and our partner serving with ECOWAS West Africa agreement. So all these partners have a value proposition of helping us in the different in-country engagements. And we are looking at the program, continue to provide the satellite data from the free sources when we talk about the Landsat, and going further to have analysis ready data, which is very nice because now the days of processing data we are passing that stage. We are now empowering the stakeholders to get the information at the click of a button, looking at the various sustainable development goals, looking at Faminga in agriculture and food security, and looking at also the management of water, which is very key in Africa. The first service, which was developed continentally, was the water observation from space, and some examples shared by my colleague Ron Joseph. You'll see some of the wetlands that we can observe them over 30 or 35 years and see how much they has changed, and very key to support water resource in Africa. We have this food security product called Cropland Extent, which was co-developed with partners in Africa. And also the offerings, we continue to have the vegetation climatologies at 30 meters, which is very key to look at how our farms have changed, and also the fractional cover to look at the impact like land degradation. So we're looking at the country level like Rwanda. We can see how to get the vegetation condition per month. We are looking at phenology, which is very key to support farmers. Looking at the crop productivity, we can also do the forecasting of that vegetation condition. So we also have the water body service, which was developed recently. And this one is a build-up of water observation from space, but showing you that specific individual water bodies, which are very key, and seeing how they've been impacted by climate change, and seeing just the trends and see how we can support the different sectors. So access to the Digital Africa is, we have the Digital Africa map, we have the sandbox, we also have access to our web map services and the free online platform. just to give you a demo of the website, a very new website now with Digital Africa. We can see some of the platforms, the Digital Africa, the sandbox, the notebook, even access to the S3 portal and some of the services and the analysis ready data that we have. We also have, you can read more about the website and get more information about the resources and including the learning, where we have the access to the online platform and the user guide, which is very key to support our end users to empower that ecosystem, leaving no one behind. This site has been refurbished just this week, and we just launched it to you as the first one. And looking at the website, it looks very nice. We can see some of the free courses. Some of them we co-developed with our partners in the continent, and we continue to empower our partners across the continent, even providing special awareness sessions as well as training, which is very key for programs like Faminga and seeing how you could support other stakeholders. So looking at various focus areas and also looking at the platform, we could go to the Digital Africa map. It's a very built on Terra maps. It's a good technology. And here you can access all our data sets. And now we can actually zoom into Rwanda, our country, and seeing how we can support the different districts, provinces. We could add the different data sets, the images. We have the Sentinel-2 captured every 5 days. You can see how we are looking at different areas like Kigali. Also cognizant of the cloud cover, we can just navigate around the images and look for cloud-free dates, or also we could go to the Digital Africa GeoMAD cloud-free mosaics. So this is just giving you a feel that we have images on Sentinel-2 way back from 2017 January. So it means we are trying to give that historical perspective that we could just come in and try to validate what has happened, looking at our airport, and even the new one, we can also show you the trends as it's been done. I was looking at the image of 2017 when I was told the concept was done for groundbreaking ceremony. And now looking at an image of 2024, you can see the developments are on track. So this is a very good resource for our countries to know our very own Digital Africa, to be able to see how our flags, our countries are doing, the different resources. And we are looking at the different data sets. We also have the Sentinel-1 as well. We also have the continental services. We could go to the cloud-free mosaics, which is very key to unlock this potential. So you could access it on the Digital Africa maps. You could also access it on a web map service in case you had an application. And as we move with this presentation, at the very end, I'll show you an example of Big Data Ghana, where there's an innovator just like you, who was able to use some of the services to support a program of empowering farmers. We also have AgriBora in Kenya, who are doing a similar initiative with an open data cube technology and accessing the Digital Africa services to provide advisory to farmers. And those ones now have gone a notch higher to provide some information on supporting crop insurance or just ways that people can secure funding. So here you could see the new airport just being developed, and you can see the image 2017, and this is the image of 2024. So it's very nice to track developments, and also Joseph can track his piece of land in the village and see if he's planting bananas or maize, which variety is doing very well. So we can also do the vegetation where we have the false color composite to be able to see how it feels on the false color. We can be able to see the wetlands, and here where we can add a data set on water observation from space. This one is very key because it will give you a whole idea on how to see over 35 years of data of getting information of what has happened, and you can change the index to see from red to blue. Blue being areas which have been water, and red being areas which occasionally have been flooded and sometimes are dry throughout the year. So this is very key to unlock the wetlands in Rwanda, where we are very blessed with many wetlands, like our neighbors, and also in the highlands and even in the southwest region, where there's a lot of farming being done. So it's a very good resource, the Digital Africa map, and then you can even create a story map. Then you can even create a share link with partners and friends. Then you can also click on the different map settings to change the background, even a 3D, very nice when we're making presentation to different key stakeholders. even depending on internet connection, you can still be able to demonstrate something. So this is just a feel of the Digital Africa map built on this stereo maps technology. Very key just to make sure that you're providing the data sets as they are, and the end users can actually be able to navigate. Even a journalist or even someone working for the community, they can be empowered. Just click a link and even share it in the chat and be able to access self-paced on any arrangement. So with this just being an example, I'll be able to show you just other ways of accessing our data through the Africa Geoportal, through our partners, Esri, who are very key to empowering us to reach out to different communities. Then we also have access through the web map services, which is very nice. We'll be able to show you this, and including Esri and QGIS and other services. So this is just one of the examples generated by Joseph, showing the map of Kigali over many years. As you've seen just from the previous example, we're able to see the country also in false color composite. This is just a vegetation change over time. And you can see over time, Kigali has become greener. Then you also have the crop extent map, which is very key for farming and locking the differences between cropland as well as forest. So this particular example, just taking you through going through loading the cropland extent in our continental services, and you can see it was co-developed with partners at 10 meters, and also this documentation, even how you can access it in another platform. And the legend here just gives you an opportunity to change the legend, and here the colors closer to yellow indicate areas which are likely to be cropping, and also just trying to demonstrate that it's possible to have these different areas, interventions, and you could just zoom into areas and see colors closely yellow being areas which are likely to be cropped, and maybe at the end of it, I'll be able to pause for any interaction, just looking through the platform and seeing the various areas, the different wetlands and our various sectors, very key to our unlocking what's happening around our country of Rwanda. So there are many resources we are blessed with. You can see the greenness, you can see some of the small farms. You can just see how that one changes to closer yellow, where there's been cropland activities, which will be separate from different agroforestry activities. So this is a very good technology to unlock that part where we can see the difference between the two areas, and just seeing how our country can be mapped and how different sectors we can work with them. Even the Ministry of Agriculture, where we have our Minister, Dr. Diofonso Msafiri. So you can also export the data, you can look at the web map services and be more empowered. Just also, as we move with the different examples, we can look at regeneration of some of our areas in the country. And this is just looking at the cloud film mosaics, GeoMat, an example of Landsat. We can see the impact of the government policies and the generation of our country. Then we have the Sandbox platform, which is a cloud-based platform giving you that opportunity to do super analysis. And we have different notebooks that we have co-developed with partners. Back to our website, you could go to the Sandbox, and there it's free registration, and you have different notebooks. And we have this very good web introduction, giving an overview just of notebooks for agriculture, vegetation, for example, for today's showcase, looking at crop health, looking at vegetation phenology, just as an example, so that we can be able to see which notebooks can work for us. And Joseph was able to share an area of our choice. This is Kabuga, just in our country, where we can see some small farms and see how the trends have been, and even just trying to change some of these notebooks to see how best we can make them more fit for purpose. So this is just an example of a cropland extent for the whole country. You can be able to clip it, and you can be able to use it in your different applications, just in the dataset folder. We have the cropland extent, a notebook. All these are self-paced. You can be able to go there anytime and just changing the extents of your area, or even at country level. So this is quite a platform that We'll make sure we are all empowered as we serve our countries and different stakeholders from the top to the bottom. So these notebooks are very key, and we continue to add them based on our engagements and seeing what is fit for purpose for your applications. So looking at sustainable development goals, we're looking at food security, water, we're looking at climate action and life on land and land degradation. In the examples of agriculture, we have the crop health, which will be able to show you the vegetation phenology and the monthly anomalies. So on the crop health, we have an example, some farms in Kabuga. Here we can be able to see how we can do this step by step. And in this particular example, just short and precise, make sure that you're empowered to look at the sandbox. And also going there, we'll be able to look at the same place on the Digital South Africa map, which is near Kachiro. And you can look at area near, and you can look at the crop extent, and we're able to see the differences between these two areas in Gazabo. And when you zoom in Yahinga, you can see the farm area, and we can look at areas of probability of farming. And in that particular notebook in Kabuga, we can be able to run it. We run the particular notebook, and when it runs, it is able to give this dialogue of loading the particular notebook, and also our area of extent, which is just the coordinates that you would have gone to the field and have some information. And when now you go closely, you'll be able to see this is the same area. And now we are empowered to digitize specific plots and see what is happening for this farm. Could the productivity be the same in the farm in the next site? We could also investigate that. So this one is using the vegetation index just to show you what is happening. And the plot on this side, you can see areas where there's been maybe peak harvest, and low areas showing harvesting have been done, and high peaks and low peaks, and also showing perhaps the farmer might have planted different crops and maybe removed one crop and planted another crop. So this also gives you the dynamics of farming, where, as we know, farmers might start one plant and change to another one based on what is new or what is bringing more money to the table. So the dynamics of our farmers, we could even change the year to May of last month, 2025, or April. Then we can run the notebook and we can see, it can give us these images of Sentinel-2 up to this date. And we've put a condition of 50% cloud cover at least. Sometimes you can even put 90, but just to eliminate the bias, we might find very useful data sets that we could use. And here we are loading almost 60 data sets over time. And you can see the area has been redrawn again. So we just change the extents and we start our first plot. You could see the dates within the area of April last year, 2024 to 2025. And you can see possibly what is happening in this particular region and what has been planted and what is likely to be happening. Then also reminding ourselves our rain times, rain seasons around towards December, and the dry seasons. You could see this relates to the farming that we have. I'll show you a notebook on rainfall, which gives you an idea of how you could correlate these two activities as they happen. Most of our farming is rain-fed agriculture, so you could actually see. You could also save this image somewhere or just copy it in your document. This is very nice when you are doing reports or even doing a presentation to different stakeholders on how they can be able to access the platform and do this analysis. So the typical analysis from that in the phenology example now, which is the next one, is that we can see the start of a season and also the point, the peak, and also the end of the season and the different years. And this is very useful as you compare the optical data Sentinel-2 and the radar, which is Sentinel-1. The results are almost similar. But in the case of vegetation phenology, the notebook in our real-world example, we'll be able to calculate the vegetation index and create plots of vegetation phenology. And this is the typical libraries that we load. And we're able to have two options, either uploading a shapefile, JSON, or the area of choice, the coordinates. Here we are choosing to have the NDVI, and we are trying to use the crop mask. of 2020-2019. And this particular example of Kabuga farm in Rwanda, we can see the area, and then we're able to load the imagery, the different bands, and from that we can see the typical images loaded. Then also using the Digital Africa crop mask, cropland extent, we're able to mask out and remain only with cropland areas and have the vegetation index. And now it will be able to plot smooth curves of our vegetation time series. Then we'll have another plot, which is more of an interpolation, which we can actually relate with. And you can see, as I was talking about our rainy seasons towards December, and slow peaks in October, and slow peaks in April. And so this will be very typical scenario of rain-fed agriculture. Then also cognizant that this farming could be done in different regions in our country. So in the south, southwest, or northwest region, and also having our curve at the end of the day, where we could look at two crops, point of season, the peak and the start and the end, which will be different, and also do different years of different farming activities. So someone who might ask, why not do it for the year 2024? Yes, it's possible. As I go back up, I'll be able to change the plotting for 2024, and also just going up, I'll have to change the dates of the analysis. So having analysis of 2019, I'll be able to change the respective dates, and this will be very useful just to see maybe perhaps over time what farming activities have been done. So it's very nice also to provide an understanding of the farming activities. Possibly there are crops which were planted this time, and we'll have different crops planted at different seasons. So we could do an assessment for the 2024 and then try to run it. However, you'll encounter a small error somewhere, because we are supposed to remove now the crop mask, which was supposed to run only for the year 2019. So these errors are also nice, because then it gives you an idea of learning. You are learning by doing, very key for champions in Digital Africa. That's when you try it, and you'll be able to see areas that you might need also to modify your script to work differently, or to give you different information. So then here we'll change this statement from false to true, so that it can mask out the crop mask. But also you might see that the time step of images loaded will be a different number. So you will also encounter another error at a certain cell, which is very key for us as we learn how to use the different notebooks. And also learning, it's very nice. So it is able to go through all the cells, and you can see where you are stuck. So you just have to remove one type step, so that because fewer images are captured at 50% cloud cover. So it's just removing one time step. So suspecting there were only around 50 something images, then you can run all cells, or you can run that particular cell and all the cells below, so that you can actually run to completion. So these Jupyter notebooks are quite flexible, giving you the time around, but one plot was captured for that year. And also going down, we'll be able to see what will be plotted. And also it's a case in point of learning of what has been available for that region over time. Also, you can choose to change the dates from the 2024 and try to go behind and see if you could have 2 or 3 years. Possibly you'll have different plots of captured in the time series. So be able to go back to the up cell and add the extent, the time of our analysis. This will be very key as we try to understand the region and the dynamics, what crops were grown in the region, and what possibly would be mostly crop rotation, or 2 different crops, or 1 crop. So we'll get the curves based on what was captured as specific trend. So this within less than a minute, you'll be able to see your results. This giving you quick feedback, and then zooming out to see other regions in the country. So you can see we are at southeast of Kigali, and some farming activities are currently ongoing. and the steps of images captured. Since now we've set to 3 years, or actually 4, 2021 to 2024. And we can be able to see the trends over time, a lot of big information loaded and different curves, which will resonate with the example that I'll show later on rainfall. So this will actually guide you that our farming is mostly crop fed, and possibly later with the technology, our farmers are thinking more of greenhouse or irrigation. So you could look at the different curves, at least 4 identified, possibly 4 crops in this particular region, and the different dates that they were put, or even the crop seasons. So it could be one crop which was there, then it was rotated, or the same crop, how it was performing in each country at each time step. And you can see always October would have been the harvesting. And in another example we had of Sierra Leone, we were able to see that rice farming could also be affected by rain season, or it could be a different variety of rice and when it can be harvested. So these are always in the background in farming, the information that we have. And also, we could also look at vegetation monitoring in Kiningi. There are different examples. You could also capture forest or afforestation. We could also generate vegetation anomalies. This was an example of Masaka generated by Joseph. And in this particular example, see the vegetation anomaly, which is closely related to rainfall activities or rainfall captured from the different, even from Rwanda made, and also we have the CHAPS data that we have. So this is an example of vegetation anomaly done monthly, and this one we are doing at country level for Rwanda. And also we could change the different months to see, hopefully in January or in March or in February, and also looking at possible areas where there's a peak of farming or relatively when we have the rainy season. So we could change to different months and get different results. So all this is processing of the vegetation anomaly for the country. And this climatology was initially developed with Landsat, and now I've added Sentinel-2 so that it goes to from 2017 to 2023 and later 2024, and will be updated every year. So the information is very nice to capture, drought, capture also farming activities, and you can see most of our green areas towards the southwest of our country, and occasionally some parts of northeast. And this is dependent on the vegetation index and which month we are looking at. So this one, we've also used the crop brand extent just to mask out and just get the areas of farming. And now we are more focused on the standard anomaly. We can be able to see at country level how we are doing, our crop farm areas, southwest, some of the areas that I would have mentioned in our example. Then you'll be able to change different months, and you'll see even different years how this one is looking. As we know, we are told by farmers this year was dry compared to the other one, or Rwanda has become greener, or this particular area, even if you're in Musanze, or you could be told that information from the farmer is very key to help us unlock what is happening. So these are also looking at the continental services. We have the vegetation anomaly, as I mentioned, very key resource. And as we look at it, very good for monitoring the vegetation health over time and at country level. Initially we had with Landsat, now we've added the Sentinel-2 so that now we have more precise, very useful for crop health monitoring, drought and vegetation dynamics, and the use case of Ghana big data will be able to demonstrate to you and see how we can learn from other partners. So in the case of big data Ghana, they were using our platform and using the satellite data to monitor agriculture, and they were borrowing data sets from Digital Africa, the cropland extent, the cropland health tool, vegetation index, as well as the cloud-free mosaics of Sentinel-2, which are very key to see how we can help Faminga and how Faminga can benefit from this platform. So looking also at rainfall, very key, because now when you look at it, you'll be able to understand that our farming is really relies on rainfall, and then also when we have good rainfall, more farmers will be able to do more planting, and also they'll be able to monitor the productivity so that when we have relatively drier months, possibly will be correlating with harvest time so that we can improve their livelihoods. However, this data on rainfall, as we rely on Rwanda Met, we also have other programs like TAMO, who are providing automatic weather stations and also providing closely farmers at the ground level with information on rainfall, so that now you can be able to see at district level, village level, how much rainfall is up. And looking at wet months like in July, month of 7 July, from this trend, month June, July, and August, and other months could be relatively dry like April and March. So this was also trying to give us an understanding of the rainfall over time. However, we have exceptional anomalies of rainfall when like 2019, 2018, where there's quite some flooding, different dates, which could be a periodic event of every 10 years. So when we look at it, we could look at most of our food basket, good rainfall observed early in the years, and areas when there was exceptional rainfall, like in December of 2020, and also the October of 2020, and also the January of 2021, but rainfall only on the north and south, the west part. So it can be able to give us an indication of how our country is and where we are moving towards, and also coupled with ground data. As a bonus topic, we could look at water resources, where we are looking at the data sets on the water observation from space and giving us an understanding of the water. This is just an example of the same area where we are having some wetlands. We could look at the data which could be visualized over time. And some of the wetlands, we were relying on them for farming. And also looking at the same example, we have some of the lakes in Akagera. We can see how they've been trending over time. Then we have the wetland insight tool, which could be very specific for each wetland, and if you're able to get more information. Then we're able to couple this with Sentinel-1 and the water observation from space to see the comparison. And in urbanization, we have an example where we could track urbanization for our city, our country, and our cities, and seeing how there's been growth. So when there's growth, it means also our agricultural farms could be affected, and also looking at the evolution of our city in Kigali over time and how the city has grown over the last 10 years. Be also an impact to agricultural activities, and also looking at the land cover dynamics with our partner Sahel and West Africa Club, giving us information on urban green space. We can see slightly some decline of cropland, and also we could also, this is around Kigali, but we also have a gain of green space based on the policies put by the government of greening Kigali and environs and the whole country. We are looking at improved tree cover, which is very key for our government, and credit goes to the good governance of our country. Also, we're able to provide land degradation also as a topic, working closely with our partner Afrigist in Nigeria and Sahel in Tunisia, and they'll be discussing more on soil organic carbon in the next live sessions that we have in English and French. So this is just an example of land cover at the country level. Looking at 2014 to 2019, we can see some trends on how this has been over time, our city of Kigali growing over time, but also the policies of government. We have seen a lot of greening in the southwest and the northwest, which is very key for how it has been affecting the country. And also we can look at the vegetation classification over time, seeing areas which have been remaining low and areas which have gained in green cover, mostly the southwest area. And also we can see the performance of the vegetation change, areas which have really been affected and areas which have remained excellent and are continuing very well. And also we continue to engage with different countries, different partners. For example, the Tanzania National Bureau, we are supporting them in agriculture and also presented to high-level people in the region. And also one of the champions in Digital Africa, Stella Mtai, who used our platform for farming by satellite price, and also looking at the Big Data Ghana platform. Just as a summary, they were able to integrate most of the digital Africa data sets in their platform, and looking at cropland, crop health, water observation, and the cloud-free mosaics, which are very key even to digitize individual plots. And also looking at some of the work by our partner in Rwanda, Joel, who was a student of Joseph at the University of Rwanda. He was able to share some areas, insights in a paper, and how the work term supports the Vision 2050, and that one of just an understanding of change in vegetation over time, and how we can be able to be prepared for a more resilient country. So acknowledging the work by Jean, he was part of the Africa Earth Observation Challenge last year, and I know this year he will also be part of it, and he will actually become one of the winners, but I know he's been enrolled in the accelerator program with Tech Tribe, my colleagues, born to Majani in South Africa. And also just letting you know that Digital Africa remains very keen to diversity and inclusion, support to the hackathons, and also support to summer school programs. One of the recent ones with the big data school in South Africa, where it brought different countries and looking at the different projects from croplands, weather, water, or urban development, and all use deep learning technologies. So Digital Africa continues to be engaged with our partners group of Earth observation in different sessions. We've presented on agriculture, water resources, and coast and marine. And also we have the training courses in English and French. And just to give you a summary of these courses, they are self-paced. And the good thing with them is that we are able to provide also a certificate of participation once you complete the courses, and we continue to add the courses based on the feedback we receive from partners. Also, we have the user guide, which was very key for us to mention. So that this is the learning courses. We have the introduction to Sandbox, and also we have the agriculture food security course, which is very nice because once you enroll, you'll be able to be guided on various topics. We developed this with our partner Afrigist in Nigeria. The topics rainfall, vegetation anomalies, soil moisture, very key for agriculture, and vegetation phenology, and also presenting a use case of crop health assessment. And this is very nice because then you can track also the progress of your training, and even you can get a certificate, your own certificate of participation. So these courses are co-developed with partners, making sure that we fit the various needs, and also showing you the introduction to the Sandbox, which with your time and participation, you'll be able to get more insights on how to use the platform. However, even in today's session, you'll have an indication of where you are going using the platform, getting an introduction, the data sets, and how we could have different use cases. And also finally looking at the user guides, which are very key for us to see that we provide the right documentation. So we mentioned about the example of WebGIS services, accessing our platform through QGIS and ArcGIS Pro, very key to promote that connection. We also have direct access, which means that you can access another platform, Google Colab or AWS SageMaker, access the platform, even the notebooks, integrated other web services, and looking through the analysis notebooks. We were mostly in the real world examples, and also looking at the Africa Geoportal, just giving you the link and seeing that it's quite opportunities for engagement, keeping you engaged, and also that your work, it fits somewhere in the global agenda, so that we support a global and prosperous world where everyone is able to fit in and use such a platform to be empowered, because I know ultimately you are the leaders of tomorrow, and you will be able to make more informed decisions. So this platform is for everybody, the resources, the insights about, and you can be able to see back the platform, the focus areas, agriculture, food security, and also link to the live sessions that we have every week in English, French, and hopefully we might have this session in Kenya, Rwanda, so that we can reach more stakeholders everywhere in Rwanda. We look forward to a peace and prosperous country, and just as we finish, you'll be able to see how to connect with us through the live sessions, and acknowledging the partners, especially the Australian government and Helms Trust, who supported this program since its start in August 2019, and the program will continue with that support. Even here now is to thank you very much for your participation and allowing Jean to ask one or two questions, but more importantly, to share the good news that is received today from his speech. Welcome, Jean. Nimeza.
Thank you so much for your time and for presentation. This is a very, very useful technology, both for the end users and innovators across Africa. And thank you so much for this hard work you are putting in, and energy and effort, and your time to present seamlessly this presentation and solution. And yeah, I like the way you ended up with a digital Earth observation. Earth observation terrain last year, and you were accomplishing what you promised during my pitch. Agreed to help us really integrate geospatial technology into our solution. But I have two questions. Is everything free? And can we integrate these into our existing system, like our existing web application, where we can integrate like those Google Colabs? Can we make a copy and edit them? What is the requirements to have access to those? And yeah, when we have a copy of these notebooks, does the changes we make reflect into your own servers, or it's the copy we keep that changes? I think that's the questions I currently have.
Thank you so much, Jean, Nimeza. So the platform is free for everybody, and also as we shared the example of Big Data Ghana, was that Henry Bafo is an innovator just like you, and he was able to use the platform through the web GIS services, so you can just connect seamlessly. And all this is free so long as you acknowledge the platform, because this platform, as was developed in the early sense, was the stakeholders categorized from government, academia, civil society, and also the private sector. And also, as you've seen, the challenge with government is very hard to reach everybody and all the citizens. And also looking at startups like your program, these are the ones which will help the government reach the farmer at the farm level. And Faminga is able to connect to this platform seamlessly. So also when you build your skills using the platform or the sandbox, the notebooks you develop like on the direct access in your Google Colab, this is your own work, and also it remains your own copy because you will develop your own notebooks. And also this is in the spirit of innovation, because we are looking at a country like Vision 2050 of Rwanda, looking at the science and technology innovation policy where everyone is empowered, and with the work and the wonderful work you're doing, you'll be more empowered to do much more work. For example, the news you shared today that you might be able to access some extra funds to do some work. These are the possibilities that you have to integrate more resources. And also, as I mentioned, these complementary partners who are also working on the weather space, providing weather services that will complement Rwanda Met. So we are looking at an ecosystem where everybody is empowered and everyone is special and everyone is somebody, so that we create a quite sustainable ecosystem. Even looking at the work at Africa Your Challenge, this was more empowering the innovators. And also, as you've shared, the recent news of you might be accessing some useful grants. These could be opportunities for you to pilot and champion and start somewhere. Thank you, Jean.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I like the way you showcased in your use cases the Kabuga area, because we started piloting in Kabuga. So that's very good that there is already the data that we can start leveraging on. And I like that. I like the way you considered everyone in their own category. And yeah, we are happy, and we would like to share that we have been funded by the government of Rwanda to really reach as many farmers as we can and be able to expand our solution in other African countries. And thank you so much for this solution for us. And I think the other innovators will take this advantage and innovate and help the Africa to be hunger free, I think, and make it more greener. And this is very much appreciated, and I like this solution. And yeah, I'm going to start with my team using these, and like after 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, we will provide the feedback on how it's going and how it's impacting our company, our solution, and the farmers we work with.
Thank you so much, Jean. And Joseph was having the last words. Joseph.
So thank you, Ken and Jean-Claude. So you mean that I'm going to bless you today? So it was a great initiative. Trying to see what you do, and also I'll be following your activities. So also for Kabuga, so I'm in Kigali. Whenever I test something, please let me know. Can even come to your office anytime. And also, if you need the integration of our work or the platform tools in other of your workshops to explore more with users, I'm always available. And also, I look forward to hearing from you within 2 weeks, as you said. But if we are stuck, I have your WhatsApp. I was chatting you a few minutes ago. And so I can work together and hopefully try to kind of integrate our database in terms of data, but also in terms of platforms with yours. Maybe let's just say they complement each other's, because I know that you're doing a job in Rwanda. So thank you, and also thank Ken for the network. And yeah.